Hello, it's my pleasure to present you our work on the quantification of morphological homoplasy in Drosophila. This work was published in 2019 in Evolution Letters. Indeed, Darwin viewed evolution by natural selection capable to produce endless forms most beautiful, as he famously concluded the origin of species 150 years ago. However, this view has recently been challenged in a number of essays and papers claiming evolution to be strongly limited. And a central tenet to this recent claim is the notion of homoplasy, that is, the independent origin of traits in distant lineages. For example, all swimming organisms have particularly elongated bodies, and all flying organisms, as distant as bats and birds, have wings. However, whereas long lists of homoplagious traits have been compiled and published, we do not have equivalent lists of morphological novelties, hence hampering deducing an unbiased estimate of the extent of morphological homoplasy in nature. Therefore, we decided to address this question in Drosophila, because on the one hand, 100 years of scientific, mostly genetic investigation of those flies made them one of the best understood animals at the developmental and morphological levels. And also because, on the other hand, the family Drosophilidae is one of the largest dipteran families, comprising nearly 5,000 described species with a great morphological diversity. So we started by sampling 56 species out of those 5,000. Those species were chosen first because they represent the four main radiations of the family, as well as different taxonomic scales. Second, because molecular data for several genes were available for those species in GenBank, and we used these sequences to infer a Bayesian phylogeny for the 56 species. And finally, because detailed morphological descriptions were available for those species in two of the most comprehensive systematic studies on both immature stages, that is Okada's 68 monograph on juvenile stages, as well as adults, which was Beckley et al. 2004, the Drosophilidae of Fennoscandia and Denmark. So, in order to translate those descriptions into data that could be analyzed to quantify homoplasy, we conceptualize each character as a quality value attributed to an anatomical structure, itself being a well-defined part of a body plan for one sex at a particular developmental stage. By doing so, our matrix contained 490 morphological characters that you can see their distribution here in black for the 56 species. Character states were then coded using statistical methods. For example, you see here a size character, which is wing length. Once the distribution of the lengths were obtained for all species, a cluster analysis was conducted on the optimal number, and the optimal number of clusters was obtained using NBClust and R package. Here, the optimal number of clusters was 3, leading to the definition of 3 states, 0, 1, and 2. For colors, we first listed all color descriptors that were used in the two monographs and translated each color into red, blue, and green codes. We then applied NBClust on the principal components of those colors to infer 6 optimal states going from state 0 to state 5. And the reason behind coding all characters, even continuous ones like lengths or colors, into discrete states was that it allowed us using standard cladistic measurements, such as the homoplasy and retention indices, to quantify homoplasy. For example, you see how these values, which are, for example, the homoplasy index is depicted as HI and the retention index as RI, and you can see how these values vary from extreme repetitiveness on the left, which is homoplasy, recurrent independent origin of same state, to extreme uniqueness, which is evolution novelties on the right. So for Ri, it would be 0 for homoplasy and 1 for high novelty, and for Hi, it would be the inverse. And by doing so for the whole data matrix, we found that on average, the homoplasy index was 0.67. You see it here in red. And this value was significantly below what we would expect by chance alone, as from 10 million random permutations of the characters on the molecular tree. You see it here in black or in gray. And a value of 0.67 indicates that homoplasy indeed prevails, since 2/3 of morphological changes are homoplasic. However, the value also indicates that there is an important room of evolutionary innovations, since for a changing morphological character, there will be one chance over 3 to lead to the appearance of a completely new form or state. We then checked this distribution of homoplasy among developmental stages and found that intermediate larval stages, depicted here as L1, L2, L3 for these 3-star larval stages. So these stages had the lowest Ri, the lowest retention index, which means that they had the highest homoplasy, most probably due to pleiotropic effects, which would lead to only a few tolerable changes at these stages. On the other hand, comparing homoplasy among body organs in the adults clearly shows that genitalia or terminalia, whether male or female, were hotspots for evolution innovation. They were significantly higher, they had higher Ri values if compared to other body organs. And this most likely could be due to the effect of divergent sexual selection. If we compare our results to other recently published morphological phylogenetics data using more than 300 characters per study in several other taxa, we found that our findings were highly congruent with those studies, reconfirming a prevalence of homoplasy that does not impede the way or excludes chances for evolutionary novelties. So you can see here that our study got 0.67 for homoplasy index, whereas such index goes from 0.6 to 0.84. However, if we want to know how representative are our data, it suffices to know that in Drosophila melanogaster, 5,000 anatomical structures were identified according to Flybase. And if we score at least 7 qualities on each of those structures, the ideal number of morphological characters, that is the Drosophila reference morphome, would consist of 35,000 characters. And if we score those characters on the 5,000 species of Drosophilidae, our optimal matrix should contain 175 million data points. So to put in context, our data, which is the largest to date for Drosophilidae, is still less than 0.016% of this ideal matrix, reflecting how little we still know about morphological evolution, even in the most studied of animal families. Hopefully, this will change in the future thanks to continuing efforts on morphological studies. So thank you for your attention, and this work was part of a master thesis by Sinan Sayad, who was a student in my lab in the Museum of Paris. And I would like also to thank our lab funders, the French CNRS, the Museum of Paris, the Richard Lounsbery Foundation, and the Agence Nationale de la Recherche, the French agency for research funding. Thank you again.